여러분 반갑습니다. I'm Kwon-sowa and this is K-Culture Dive. Join us in taking a deep dive into the heart of Korean culture. From K-entertainment to AI news, K-culture photos, and for our K-Correspondent segment today, we go over to Brazil for a look at a Korean Minhwa exhibition there. All right, let's dive in. And joining us on today's show is my co-host Walter Lee. Hello, Walter.
Hello, Soa, and hello to the viewers watching at home. I'm Walter Lee, here to co-host alongside Soa and also bring you the latest K-entertainment stories.
All right, let's start off with K-Enter News, Walter.
Okay.
Now, there's so much to watch on Netflix these days, including many Korean dramas.
Of course.
And one of my favorites right now is Hanyangere's Season 2, or Bloodhounds, because I was also a big fan of the first season.
Right. That makes two of us. So, it's already shaping up to be, I think, a better season than season one.
Oh,
that's just my predictions after 2 episodes.
Okay, no spoilers, please, Walter.
Yes.
But minus the spoilers, you do have some news regarding this K-drama.
Yes, this specific K-drama. So Bloodhounds Season 2, starring Woo Do-hwan and Lee Sang-i, as well as Chung Ji-hoon, was the most watched non-English show on Netflix worldwide last week. Now, according to Netflix's official site Tadam and its Netflix Top 10 chart on Tuesday local time, Bloodhound Season 2 recorded a 7.4 million view for the week. That's from April 6th to the 12th, ranking number 1 in the non-English TV category. Now, this marks a rise from number 2 in its first week of release. Now, it ranked number 1 in 14 countries. These countries just include something like Argentina in the South America region, Turkey, and also Vietnam. But it also entered the top 10 in a total of 80 countries. Now, Bloodhounds 2, for those who don't know, is an action series about 2 young boxers who take on the world of illegal gambling connected to the underground boxing rings. Now, following Season 1, released back in 2023, Woo Do-hwan and Lee Sang-i reprised their roles as the boxer protagonists, Kim Gon-woo and as well as Hong Woo-jin. Now, singer-actor Chung Ji-hoon, also known as Rain or B, joins the cast and he is a villain for this season. Now, while on the topic of Korean streaming content as well, the spy film Humans, starring Cho In-sung and Park Jong-min, ranked number 3 in the non-English film category, while EXO Kitty Season 3, a romance series set in Korea, ranked at number 2 in the English TV category.
All right, it's great to see that Korean series are doing so well on these global platforms. Yeah. But let's now shift to K-pop. Now, we did mention Cat's Eye on Monday, but Walter, it seems like they're getting popular day by day.
Yes, it does indeed. Yes, we only talked about them on Monday, and they're not only just gaining more Korean fans, but continuing to break growth records overseas as well, from Europe to the Americas, Asia, etc. Now, the multinational K-pop girl group Cat's Eye are continuing their upward momentum, topping a US Billboard fan poll with their new song Pinky Up. So according to the US music outlet Billboard on Monday, Korean time, Cat's Eye's Pinky Up ranked number 1 in the poll titled, "Which is your favorite new music release of the week?" In the poll, Cat's Eye surpassed global artists such as Lady Gaga, securing about 50% of the votes, which is a high percentage. Cat's Eye have previously entered the Billboard Hot 100 with songs like Gabriella, Internet Girl, and Gnarly. Now, their second EP, Beautiful Chaos, has also maintained a very long run on the Billboard 200, continuing their global success.
Well, I feel like Pinky Up is such an addictive song, one of my favorite songs these days, Walter. But speaking of addictive songs, we're gonna move on to one of my favorite idol groups these days, Tomorrow by Together. So what do you have, Walter?
Yes, well, what a great group. I've listened to their new songs too, and they're what can I say, really addictive, and TXT have proven their strength by achieving million seller status immediately upon their comeback. Now, their agency Big Hit Music cited that Hanto chart in announcing that Tomorrow by Together's 8th mini album, 7th year, When the Wind Stopped, Briefly in the Thorn Bush, yes, that's the long title, sold over 1.3 million copies on the day of its release, which was Monday. With this, TXT became a million seller on the very first day of its release, continuing their streak of 7 consecutive first week sales, million sellers. Now, the title track Stick With You, or Haru에 Haru만 더, entered the Melon's top 100 at number 34 with just 1 hour of its release and rose to actually number 18 as of midnight on April 14th.
All right, thank you very much, Walter, for those updates. Instead of saying stick with you, I'm going to say stick around.
Yes, I will.
And now we're going to go over to our AI anchor, Arang, for more on the culture front. Arang, over to you.
Thanks, Swa. Here's your AI guide to the latest cultural headlines from Korea. Let's begin with our top story. Culture Minister Cho Young held a roundtable with film industry representatives on Tuesday to gather on-the-ground views on key issues facing the sector. Talks focused on scrapping legislation on the so-called holdback period, which is the window between a film's theatrical release and its availability on other platforms such as OTT services, along with introducing caps on screen concentration, extending minimum screening periods, and expanding policy funding. Minister Cho stressed that the film sector has yet to recover from the pandemic and now requires urgent support. The Culture Ministry has set aside over 65 billion won, or over $44 million from its newly formed supplementary budget to support the film industry. The Culture Ministry and the Korea International Broadcasting Foundation have launched a special initiative to promote Korean culture worldwide. Titled The Census of K-Culture, the project will run from April through November, with some 120 foreign content creators based in Korea taking part in 6 rounds of immersive cultural experiences. Participants will produce and share social media content highlighting various aspects of Korean culture. The program begins this week in Jeonju and will continue in Pocheon, Andong, Dangjin, Hosung, among other locations. The ministry is set to produce a 2-part TV special on the cultural tours, in collaboration with Arirang TV, with broadcasts scheduled for the second half of this year. Fans of the hit Korean film, The King's Warden, may want to take note of our next story. The Korea Heritage Service has launched a new tour program titled The Royal Tomb's 8 Scenes, beginning with the story of King Danjong, a figure drawing renewed attention following the film's box office success. The program features guided tours of 8 UNESCO-listed Joseon royal tombs, including those of King Danjong, Taejo, Sejong, and Gojong. The tours will be accompanied by expert commentary and curated cultural experiences. It runs from April 30th through November 15th. That's all from me. Turning now to a quick look at more K-culture stories making headlines today.
Through a single photo at a time, we take a closer look at culture in Korea. This is K-Culture in Photos. Let's start with this word, 등산. It means hiking, one of the most popular outdoor activities in Korea, especially in weather like this. It used to be a favorite mainly among middle-aged hikers, but recently more people in their 20s and 30s are joining in. Young hikers climb to the top, stretch their arms wide, and snap photos to capture that sense of achievement. Some say certain mountains bring good energy, helping things fall into place. But beyond that, hiking's easy access, safety, and social media appeal are drawing in beginners.
And at the top, the views feel like a reward, from scenic temples nestled among rocky peaks to iconic landmarks like Namsan Seoul Tower, dramatic granite cliffs, national flags waving at mountain summits, and peaceful sunrise observatories. Moments like these feel like a gift, something you can only fully experience by making the climb. After more than 80 years, two broken pieces of a stone monument have finally been reunited. The first fragment was discovered in 2020 at Walsung Palace site in Gyeongju, once the royal palace of the ancient Silla Kingdom. At the time, researchers found inscribed characters but with little context. The breakthrough came decades later when experts realized it matched another fragment discovered back in 1937. When placed together, the broken edges fit perfectly, revealing parts of a longer inscription. Let me also show you the back of the stone. Now on display at Gyeongju National Museum, the reunited pieces offer a rare glimpse into the past. Scholars have identified 16 characters so far, written in an ancient script rarely seen on Silla artifacts. But many questions remain, like who created this monument and when? For now, this small discovery continues to spark big conversations about Korea's early history. What looks like a scene from a historical drama is actually unfolding in the heart of Seoul. At the Uijeongbu site near Gwanghwamun Gate, a traditional military ritual known as Yeolmu is being brought back to life. With red flags waving, soldiers move in perfect formation, showcasing discipline and order. They then engage in dynamic demonstrations with swords and shields, revealing the skill and coordination once performed during state ceremonies in the Joseon era. Originally, Yeolmu was a royal military drill showcasing strength, order, and loyalty to the king. And today, it unfolds in front of everyday citizens, blending history with modern city life and turning a public square into a living stage. It's a unique way of experiencing Korean heritage, not behind glass, but right in the streets. Across wide green pastures, Jeju horses roam freely, just as they have for generations, moving in quiet harmony with the land. Known as Korea's native horse and designated as a natural monument, the Jeju horse has long been part of the island's identity. There's even a saying, "Send horses to Jeju and people to Seoul," highlighting how ideal this land is for raising them. As the seasons change, a traditional practice called 입목 begins, where horses are released into open grazing fields after winter. In spring, they wander across vast meadows, grazing at ease and moving at their own rhythm, a quiet scene that brings a sense of calm to those watching as well. And when they begin to gallop, it becomes something unforgettable, a powerful, fleeting moment people rush to capture as the energy of the season comes alive before their eyes. This is a living tradition where nature, heritage, and community come together. From mountain trails to ancient stones, royal rituals, and open fields, these snapshots reveal the many layers of Korea where past and present continue to meet.
A modern reinterpretation of Minhwa, traditional Korean folk painting, is being displayed at a special exhibition in South America's largest city, Brazil's São Paulo. Now today, we connect to Kim Cheol-rong, the director of the Korean Cultural Center in Brazil, to learn more about the exhibition, the local response, and the growing interest in Korean traditional culture across the country. Hello, Cheol-rong.
Hello, Cheol-rong.
Hello. Nice to meet you.
Happy to have you on the show, Cheol-rong. So first and foremost, please tell us a little bit about the Minhwa exhibition currently taking place and how it came about.
Yes, this Minhwa exhibition is co-organized by the Korean Culture Center, 월간 Minhwa, a monthly Minhwa magazine, and shopping center Tres. This is one of the major shopping centers in São Paulo. So it presents around 100 works by contemporary Korean Minhwa artists. So the three co-organizers agreed that this Minhwa exhibition would be received very well in Brazil because Minhwa is a popular art that began in late Joseon period, very new to Brazil, but very easy, friendly, and very attractive in itself. So we all wanted to introduce this rich and engaging culture to the Brazilian audiences.
I really like the idea that this is not only being held at the cultural center, but also a shopping center.
Yes, that's quite interesting. So, could you walk us through the overall structure of the exhibition and what visitors can experience on site?
Yes, so this exhibition uses two locations at the same time. First, the Korean Culture Center. It serves as a traditional gallery. Visitors can quietly appreciate the artworks you can see in the screen now, including the large folding screens, Pyeongpung. And secondly, the shopping center Tres offers a more open and interactive environment. It is integrated into daily city life and includes photo zones and stamp activities. Presenting Minhwa in one of São Paulo's largest shopping centers I think it's quite meaningful because unlike the Korean Culture Center, which mainly attracts people already interested in Korean culture, this shopping mall is part of everyday life for many Brazilians. So using this space, we hope to reach a broader and more diverse audience.
Right, but Cheol-Rong, just by looking at the art pieces, probably the visitors are already liking it at first sight, but still, Minhwa itself may be unfamiliar to many international audiences, if not to most international audiences. So how do you introduce it to the Brazilian visitors?
Yeah, we explained that Minhwa literally means people's painting. It is a popular art created by ordinary people during the Joseon period. And Mina decorated living spaces and expressed wishes for happiness and prosperity. We also emphasize that it is not the elite art made only for aristocrats, but a form of everyday culture that reflects the lives and hopes of common people.
Right. Common people, I think, is really a key word here when it comes to Minhwa.
Indeed, indeed. So, how have visitors been responding in particular? In particular, how do they react to symbolic elements like animals and flowers often seen in Minhwa? And how does it compare to, let's say, because you're in Brazil, traditional Brazilian art?
Okay, in March alone, about 9,000 people visited the Korean Culture Center. At the shopping center, it is hard to estimate, but the mall receives around 850,000 visitors per month on average. So we believe many people encountered the Minhwa exhibition there. When I observe visitors at the center, I often see curiosity and joy on their faces. I think this comes not only from their interest in Korean culture, but also from the simple and friendly charm of the Minhwa. I think the bright colors of Minhwa seem to resonate with the Brazilian art too, which often uses vivid primary colors like red and green and yellow.
All right, now then, beyond Minhwa and traditional Korean art, interest in Korean culture has been growing in Brazil overall. I think they also have a big BTS fan base there as well. But how would you describe the level of interest for Hallyu right now?
Yes, I suppose like almost everywhere in the world, in Brazil too, the Korean culture is very popular, on the rise, still on the rise. The interest has been expanding beyond K-pop and dramas to include literature, food, beauty, film, etc. And there's also strong enthusiasm for learning the Korean language. One notable change is that Brazilians are now organizing their own Korean culture festivals and film events too, for example. So the Korean culture is no longer something that's introduced by the Koreans. It's the Brazilians are seeking the culture and enjoying it themselves. Another sign of this growing interest is that as director of the Korean Culture Center, it has become much more easier for me to meet the Brazilian government officials or the cultural institutions, and the collaboration is happening more often and more easily now.
Right. So during your 3 years in Brazil, you've led a variety of initiatives to promote Korean culture. Could you share some of the key programs you've organized? Also, which of them received the strongest response or stood out at least the most for you?
Yes, one project stands out. It's the Jinju. It was a co-project with Jinju City. The Jinju Silk Lantern exhibition held in Rio, in the city of Rio in 2024. It attracted over 100,000 visitors and more than double the previous attendance record at the Niteroi Contemporary Art Museum, a famous local museum. And to mark the opening of this exhibition, we did a projection map on the landmark Rio Christ the Redeemer statue, and this event drew. So we projected the hanbok on this statue. So literally the Christ the Redeemer was wearing hanbok, and this event drew wide attention both in Brazil and in Korea. It was the first time the statue was dressed in another country's traditional attire.
Quite impressive
This
there.
was very meaningful for me.
Yes, very, very impressive. And just on a personal note, what is your favorite aspect of Korean culture or something you would recommend to, let's say, the people in Brazil?
One thing I'm very proud of the Korean culture is that it's not about the culture itself, but the people who enjoy it. Korean culture fans are not just consumers; they are supporters and active participants, and they communicate actively among themselves on the SNS. So I think this helps sustain and expand the popularity of the Korean culture. As for recommendation to the Brazilian people, I don't have any specific one thing to recommend, but I hope all the programs of our culture center can introduce the many different aspects and deep aspects of Korean culture. Yeah.
Right, and speaking of those,
But if
sure,
yeah,
you wanted to add
but
something?
if I have to suggest one, thing. I would encourage the Brazilian people to visit Korea themselves in person, and experience its diverse food and culture across different regions.
All right, best recommendation there. And Cheong, speaking of the diverse aspects, looking ahead, how do you plan to further grow interest in Korean culture in Brazil? I mean, do you have any upcoming cultural events or initiatives that you could share right now?
Yeah, one interesting upcoming event is the first Korean Studies conference in Brazil that our center will be organizing in the second half of this year. Recently, more and more scholars in Brazil have been studying Korean literature, history, policy, etc. And this conference aims to provide them with a platform to present their studies and build networks. I hope this will also spark a Korean wave in the academics in Brazil.
Sounds fantastic. All right. Thank you very much, Cheong, for connecting with us today. And we hope that the upcoming events, as well as the Minhwa exhibition currently underway, are going to open up the eyes to locals to more aspects of Korean culture. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
And thank you, Walter, as always. We're going to have you here soon.
See you very soon.
Thanks for watching and your interest in everything K-culture. Please tune in again tomorrow, 2 p.m. Korea time. Keep diving.